Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Dr. Angelika Christie, your host of the show, Your Radiant Life After 45. Skills for healthy, happy, and wealthy women. I actually want to show you throughout these episodes how to design and enjoy your most radiant life after 45 with conscious choice, intelligent choices. So with over 25 years of professional expertise as an ND, which is a naturopathic doctor specializing in women's healthy aging, and as a lifestyle and relationship coach, together with my vast personal experience, well, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I have so much to share and to give you. Really, I plan to give you all of me. Does it sound good? So if you feel you get value from these episodes, that will happen every Saturday at 3 o'clock live with me, then I would love for you to tune in every Saturday if you can. But I think there will be an archive as well. So let's begin. So I would like for you to actually have a pen and some paper, because we will do some short exercises, nothing big, but you also may want to take some notes. So before we go into the first exercise, let me tell you a little bit about who I am. And I just give you one sentence, because I found this when I was challenged to put my entire life, who I am, what I'm all about, into one short sentence. It's a tremendous exercise, and I would love for you to do it as well. So if you have your pen and paper already there, just write the title, the top line, my one true sentence. And this will be something you will probably work with for days, for weeks, maybe for months. And it may change, it may evolve until you know, yes, that's it. That's just it. And so for me, it was, I think, about a month. And when I get challenged, I always try to do it as fast as I can. I don't know if that's the German in me. I like fast things. But then, of course, if you do things fast, you also make a lot of little boo-boos or say, this came spontaneously, but is it really, really true? Is it really true? And this is actually one question that you should ask yourself. I don't like to say should. That is very valuable to ask yourself. And that is it really true? Is it really, really true? Even if you have belief systems or somebody tells you something and you just, maybe it comes from an authority and you think you should believe it. And then you ask yourself, how does this feel? Is it really, really true? But back to your one true sentence. So if you have pen and paper ready, my one true sentence. And here is, I want to share my one true sentence with you, because it tells you a little bit about me without me telling a lot of stories, even though you will hear some of my life stories, because my life stories are also my teachings. So here is my one true story. I break rules. I break rules for freedom, for justice, for love, and to be true to myself. That's my one true sentence. I break rules for freedom, for justice, for love, and to be true to myself. And that's not just, thinking about, justice and freedom, I do this, but there are actually some very important and powerful and life-changing stories in my life that when they came to me, it made me aware that I am a rule breaker. And sometimes it takes a while for you to realize who you really are. So let me tell you a little bit the story about justice. is that the first one? Yeah, for freedom and justice. Maybe about freedom first, because freedom was something that I felt I had from home. I was a little bit on my own because I was born after the Second World War, and my parents and everybody was very, very busy rebuilding, their homes and their lives, and so I was little, but I was really not the center of attention, and so I created my own kind of world. And my own world really consisted of my own fantasies, right? And in your fantasies, in your imagination, there is a tremendous amount of freedom. So that's where I kind of felt that freedom was one of the natural things for me. And but then I grew up in an environment where freedom, the reality was that freedom was really not granted. I come from a very old aristocratic family. So also in those days, there was still some kind of class system. Today, that doesn't exist anymore, but 70 plus years ago, it surely was. And so I was kind of told who I can have contact with and who not. And there was always an honor system. And that was, of course, good. The freedom and the honor system did not contradict each other, because the freedom of being who you are. And when we go really deep within ourselves, we are always true to ourselves, which is the freedom of being. So when I was little, I stood up for freedom. I stood up for justice. And I never forget that one time where I was challenged and I challenged my father. We were invited, I think I was 16 or so, and I was at the age where I was introduced to society. It was a major event, a ball. And at the end of this magnificent night, we just had this beautiful company on our large table. And my father, he went on and on and on. And I think we were the last in the big ballroom. And I could see that the cleaning staff came in, and they started to clean. And my father just got so upset about it. He said, we are still here. How can they do this? And I stood up to my father and said, Dad, I mean, of course, I'm German, so I don't say dad, but the translation would be dad. These are people who have their time to clean this place, and we should recognize that and leave, because we are overstaying and their time is now. And I got in a lot of trouble with my father, because he thought, because of the class system, it wasn't up to them to dictate. They didn't dictate, they just showed up. But it was an unmistakable sign and signal for us to leave. And I felt that it was justice for them to do what they need to do and for us to leave. So that was my first run into heading with my father about justice. And the second time was actually when I fell in love. When I fell in love, and I think I was 16 or 17, when I fell in love with a young man. I think he was 4 years older than I am. And there were 2 and 3 other couples, and we were all from good families. And we loved to come together to listen to classical music, maybe to play ping pong, and just to really socialize and have great conversations. And I fell in love with this man. His name was Edgar. And my father, especially my father, not so much my mother, but my father was furious because he was the son of their greatest competition. And they found it totally inappropriate. And I don't know why parents always think that that children are interested in talking about their business. We were not at all interested in that. So there were no secrets revealed or anything like this. But it really became a kind of Romeo and Juliet story. Thank God, none of us died, but our parents prevented us from coming together in the end, even though, and that is another story actually, even though I got pregnant. And it's a dramatic story, and I may share it with you at another time. But so this is the part of really justice and breaking rules for love, you know. My whole story is actually breaking rules for love, for justice, and for freedom. And if this is not the kind of person you want to listen to, then I'm not your ideal teacher or friend, because I'm a little bit outside of the box, even though I have all of the traditions within me and a tremendous honor system and a tremendous system that is in alignment with truth, with justice, with honor, with compassion, with all of the positive attributes of a human being that is in alignment with, that is more of a we than an egotistical person. So, but within that, I do break rules. And so I'm going to share some of that with you, because when we cover relationships, I will tell you about my story, about my soulmate, my divorce, and how I revived my relationship, married my soulmate that I left the second time. So you will experience with me my extensive personal experience together with my professional training as a relationship coach, as a naturopathic doctor specializing in women's healthy aging and longevity. And then, let me just have a sip of water here, excuse me. And then I want to share with you that I also have a framework for showing you what I want to share. And I call this framework my 7 C's, the 7 C's to outrageous life success. And in my decades of experience, I came to create that framework and that system in the last 2 years. So 7 C's. The first C is clarity. Total clarity delivers certainty and removes doubts. You know, and we are really not always very clear. We have a tendency to waver, to drift. So clarity, especially if you want to make a decision, but so much more, you should have clarity in everything you do. Okay, but I just want to tell you the 7 C's. So the first one is clarity, and maybe you can write that down. Clarity. The second one is choice, because we are the only species on this planet who have choice, and you always are free to choose, always, even though at times you believe that you do not have that choice, but you actually do. And we will talk more about that, about the choice. And then creativity. This is also something that only we as humans have. Even though we find some of our domesticated animals can become quite creative, but the ultimate creativity, the ability to actually manifest, create from nothing into the desired outcome is something that only we humans have. So creativity is born from your imagination, and therefore your creativity is boundless. Okay, so write down creativity. The fourth C is courage. And courage is not a lack of fear, because sometimes people say, oh, this person is so, has such courage. I guess he or she doesn't know fear. Yes, everybody knows fear. Fear is a primal instinct that you cannot push away or get rid of. But courage is the willingness to break through fear and do it anyway. Okay, so that's courage. And we do need courage in our life. We need it all the time. And very often we are not aware of the little acts of courage we do and we have. And it seems that it is, especially for introverts or people who are not too much into themselves, it feels as if it is easier to have courage for somebody else, to try to rescue somebody, to try to support somebody, the courage to do something for somebody else sometimes feels easier, just like love. Sometimes it's easier to love somebody else than loving yourself. Okay, so but we will go more into that as well. So number 4 was courage, and courage is not the lack of fear, but the willingness to do it anyway. And the 5th C is commitment. Nothing that you want to accomplish will manifest or will be accomplished without the commitment to it. And not 20% commitment, not 30 or 40 or 70, not even 80 or 90. To really have exactly what you want and see something through, you need 100% commitment. How much? 100%. Good, good, good. Because it's part of your journey if you want to really achieve your highest potential. That's 1C that you absolutely need to practice and apply. Commitment, C number 5. C number 6, community. And community is so important. We know how much we have missed community in the last almost 2 years due to COVID. And we have found community online, just as this is my community with you now. Even though I cannot touch you, I cannot see you, I cannot feel you, I cannot speak with you one-on-one in this format right now, even though later on we will be able to have a conversation. But community is really when we come together and bond. It's a bondage, it's a sharing. Community, we can really only succeed with the help of others, helping each other, putting our I, or me, a little bit behind us and see where we can come to a we. And in our world today, this has become more and more paramount. Community, number 6. And number 7, and it kind of leads out of community. The 7th C is collaboration. So collaboration is really the fastest way to success. It is through collaboration with like-minded people, but also collaboration to reach out to those who are not like-minded and see how we can include them and listen, develop the art of listening and the art of being open to somebody who does not share our opinion or our view. But we feel, of course, the most comfortable and the safest if we are in the community and collaborate with like-minded people. And since this is a channel for women, win-win women, it's the collaboration is enormous here. I mean, with all of us here coming together and sharing our brilliance, our wisdom, our experiences openly and freely, we create this global community, because from the smallest community of collaboration that exists within our family unit, we expand into the community and collaboration within our own community, the village or the block in the big city or wherever you live, you find community there. And since I am a Rotarian, community and collaboration within us in order to help the community to grow and to reach their potential is really comes kind of natural to me. And so it is really a basic desire and a basic tool and skill for everybody who wants to achieve something for themselves and in a group. Okay, so collaboration is the fastest way to success. Okay, so here you have the 7 C's of outrageous success. And of course, I go deeper and deeper into, there are many levels of all of this. And but let's just talk on the first level about the first C, which is clarity. Clarity is really number one. You know what you want. And a lot of people say clarity, know who you are. Who you are is something that is developing all the time. Who you were, actually, who you were yesterday, you are not today anymore. There are some tweaks, some changes, just because of the experiences that you had, even within a 24-hour period of time. So, but in order to achieve a goal, in order to start the journey about who am I, what do I want, is really get clear first about of where you are at this moment, in this time, right here, right now, and what you really want right now. Because unless you don't know what you want right now, you cannot make any choices or any declarations for the future. You can explore your future and set a goal, but in order to get there, it's just like a GPS system. You need to know where you are now. So you have to become crystal clear, not only about what you want and your goal, but you need to know where you are in the now, okay? And then you need to discover your core values. And there are core values that also shift a little bit. There are core values that you had when you were much younger, that were incredibly important. And as you age, the core values may shift a little bit, because in the beginning, in your 20s and 30s, you may have a family, you may have children, and you may, or even before that, you look for the ideal partner. So there are some core values that you need to align with that new partner. So you need to know what your core values are, so that you know what it is that you absolutely must be in alignment with another person, or the negotiables and the non-negotiables. So all of that needs to be found in discovering and become clear about your core values. So this is a very good exercise to write down as well. what are my core values? What are my core values that I always had? And how have they shifted a bit? What are my core values now? Because on this channel, we are really speaking to women 40 and over. And, you know, my client is usually 45 or more, 50 and over. So the values of a 50-year-old woman compared to a 20-year-old woman are different, right? So it shifts, it changes, but unless you become really aware of it and write it down and meditate on it, you may still hang on to the older core values and may feel you're not in total alignment anymore. You are a little bit in friction. So you have to rediscover and adjust and clarity what your core values are right now. And so that you can align with your outer life, with your inner life. Because if you do not align those, if your inner life does not reflect your outer life and vice versa, you are in friction. And being in friction means you are unhappy. You lose a lot of energy because you're not in the flow. You're not dancing in your life, but you are pushing or you're trying so hard. And that's not what you want. So become aware when this happens, where you drift, the vagueness come up, the contradictions that may sabotage what you want, and it may not even be known to you. This all can happen deep in your subconscious mind. So in order to be really present with you, with your core values, and align your outer with your inner life, you have to know that, okay? So then realize your life's purpose, because when you want to do this, you need to stop drifting and stay really, really focused. No vagueness, no self-sabotage. Discover the joy of clarity. And because when you have that, your confidence is a natural. You don't have to try to be confident. It's a natural part of clarity in everything you do. And your life will flow so much more easily, okay? So I remember when I needed clarity. I needed clarity so many times in my life because my life has taken so many shifts and changes. For example, I mean, when I left Germany, I needed clarity if this is really what I wanted. Falling in love with unexpectedly and in total, let's put it this way, my family was shocked, in total shock and disbelief, and of course tried to stop me from doing what I felt I just had to do, because it was like the power was so strong, and I just knew from my soul, so from my inner self, that this was my way. But it meant to leave everything behind in Germany, even, and you may totally disapprove of that, and it was radical. I left 2 of my children behind. I was only allowed to take my oldest child, but I didn't give up. I wanted to fight for my 2 other children that when I got divorced. So, okay, what really happened was I fell in love with the Bahamian man, and I followed him. But that meant that I had to leave my first husband. And that was dramatic. Make a long story short, my first husband and my second husband, they actually became friends. All of my children came, and we had a blended and a beautiful family. So in the end, it all turned out very well. And there is a reason why I needed to do this, and I needed clarity for that. even against everybody's advice. Okay, so discover what it is that you need to do. And if you go within, there is a part within you, there is a part in your heart that knows all the time when something is right for you. And unfortunately, we ran out of time here. So I'm going to stop this now, but hang on. And so I'm going to stop the recording.